here. We have conversations every week talking about different resources and how you can find calm. There's different modalities and ways of finding calm for each person. And sometimes it really relates to what we eat. It's actually a pretty unique experience to identify maybe ways we've talked with our previous nutrition partners around finding calm, but this event is actually going to be talking about finding calm with helping you feed your kids. So if you're a parent, listen up because this might be helpful to you. We're going to introduce Amelia now. She's going to chat with us a little bit about what we're talking about on our upcoming Finding Calm Here event on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So thanks for Amelia for being here today.
Thank you for having me, Deb. I'm really excited. This is my first Facebook Live, so hopefully I'm able to communicate with everyone. And thanks for having me on Find Calm Here. It's a great resource. I've loved so many of the posts that you've done and the topics that you've hit on. They've all been really great. My name is Amelia Sherry. I'm a dietitian. I specialize in pediatrics, specifically in pediatric endocrinology. And Deb invited me to come on to Find Calm Here to talk about finding calm during mealtime. So I know that during the pandemic, we've been having a lot more meals with our kids. Every parent seems to be talking to me about that. And it's definitely can be a big source of stress. It isn't just packing lunch or getting breakfast ready or dinner. It's every single meal and every single snack. Deb, do you want me to just go into what I'm going to talk about on Wednesday? Okay, great. So what I find is helpful for parents are just having a few tools to kind of get back in line when things get really stressful. And so on Wednesday, we're going to talk about 3 of them specifically. The first one is the importance of structure with feeding. It's important for adults, and it's probably a lesson that we learn in time as we get older and get out of college and all of those kinds of things. But for kids, it's really important because it helps them in so many ways. And we'll talk about it specifically. It is linked in research with specific benefits like decreasing pickiness and helping kids to regulate their own intake. And we'll get into more of the details on Wednesday. We're also going to talk about what your actual parenting style is and how it impacts how your kids learn to eat. So there's actually something called feeding styles or food parenting styles. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And again, I'm going to give you a tool or sort of an outline, a structure to follow when you are approaching meals that a lot of parents find helpful. It actually takes a lot of the burden off your shoulders. So it's a relief. It's not like more work. It's actually less work. So that's always fun to talk about. And then the last one is trust. And that is something that a lot of parents struggle with. And even I struggle with. And I talk about this a lot in my side practice, which is my own history with eating and diet culture and how I was really always kind of worried about what I was eating and my weight. It's really complicated. So sometimes because of the culture around us, it can be really hard to feel like we can trust our kids to eat just the right amount or foods that work for them. And that can be a sticking point, but we really do need to do that. So we'll get into more of the details about trust on Wednesday too.
That's great. I'm looking forward to this. I'm not a parent, but my sister is a parent, a mother of a 2-year-old. So my nephew, I feel like he can be a pretty picky eater. And so I feel like she's going to benefit from learning a little bit around support on how to help with that, as well as other things that you had mentioned. So I'm excited about that. Is there any other things that we can identify for people that this might be for them, or if they wanted to make sure they can come and join us?
Sure. Well, it's really for parents we're not going to talk about infant feeding. A lot of people think of the word feeding as little babies. We're not going to talk about that. So it's for parents anywhere between, past the toddler stage all the way up probably to adolescence or preteen. And pickiness, you mentioned your sister, that can be due to a variety of things. But the one thing I do want to stress is that parents put so much pressure on themselves. They think, oh, my child won't eat this or that, and it's because of me. And I really don't want parents to feel like that. The idea is to take the stress off and really help the child learn their own footing with food. And we don't need to feel totally responsible for how they react to food. Kids have eating temperaments, just like they have personalities, and it's part of their personality, in fact. So we can talk more about that. I think it's for parents who really are putting a lot of pressure on themselves to get feeding right. This is really to help you realize that it doesn't have to be that hard. And I don't want you stressing. Stress gets transferred to kids, and then they arrive at the table. It's already an anxious situation. Are they going to do it right? Are they going to eat right? So I really want to help parents who might be feeling stressed, like take that burden off of them. And it's just simple tools like, creating a structure, understanding a feeding theory, little things that we can use.
That's
Hopefully
great.
that answers your question.
Yeah, that's really great. Little thing. I like the idea of implementing small things that add up to maybe make a big impact. We talk a lot about that on Find Calm Here events and through our community. And it's funny because I met you through a community called the Money Network, which is where the platform that we use with Find Calm Here. And I love what you're doing with your community. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're doing in there and how you're helping people with these exact things that we're going to be talking about?
Sure. Thank you for asking about that. So I do work in a hospital in New York, and that's my main clinical practice. But I also have a passion project on the side, which I mentioned before, and it's creating a community for mothers who do have complicated histories with food and eating, and who now sense that sort of coming out as they approach feeding their kids and their daughters in particular. It's called the Feeding Well. So we have an online community. And I'm starting to offer some free workshops for moms. I have some free handouts on my site. There is a quiz to kind of figure out, I call it find out your eating vibe or your mealtime vibe, to sort of see what is your attitude towards food and how may it be impacting your daughter. So that, thank you for asking about that. That's getting built up as we speak.
Very cool. It's exciting. That's a great topic. And believe me, I had mentioned in my blog post a little bit about my struggle with growing up, and food. It just seemed like it was such a default for addressing pain, not fueling my body. And so had I been able to learn these really great, important skills as I was growing up with my mother, with my sister, and my own family, I think that would have made a huge impact and changed a lot of my life. So I'm really excited that you're doing this and really important work. I actually got a feedback from a blog post from that blog post that said, Deb, this is a really important topic, and I'm really glad that you're helping to address it. So I'm excited for our talk on Wednesday. We'll save the rest for then. For anybody who's listening or watching us, you can join us live. There's a registration link if you're on Facebook. It'll be in the section underneath the video. If you are listening to this on the podcast or on the YouTube channel, there's a link in our show notes section that'll offer you the registration link for the Zoom call. You do have to register in advance for it because we want to make sure we create a safe space for everybody to talk about this topic. We have a private community that you can also join around this topic or other topics about finding calm, and you can connect with our global community. We have over 120 people now in our global community. We have this podcast that launches every week. The episodes drop on Tuesdays, on Tuesday morning. So you can listen to us then and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. I think that's all for the day. Thank you all so much for your attention and intention on wanting to find resources around how to find calm, because the more you are inquisitive, I guess, about finding calm, the more you will find calm, maybe, possibly for you. So thank you so much, Amelia, for joining us today. I look forward to us chatting more on Wednesday. For everybody out there, have a peaceful, calm day. And thank you so much. All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.